Rachel Zegler is well known for already having torpedoed Disney's upcoming live-action Snow White remake, to the point where she was dropped from Paddington in Peru. Although the trades blame that on the strikes at the time, conveniently ignoring that evidently didn't stop the replacement actress who should have been equally bound by them. That aside, Zegler will next be seen in the upcoming Y2K, due out in a few weeks. And right about now, the makers of that are likely wishing that they had come up with some excuse to get rid of her as well, because she just lashed out against the majority of the electorate, and therefore the majority of the movie-going audience. Let's dive in. This video is sponsored by Black Forest Supplements. A lot of people, a tiny minority relative to population of course, but inside the Hollywood bubble, a lot of people did not respond well to Kamala Harris being utterly crushed and defeated by Donald Trump in the election. On the contrary, a number of people have undergone complete meltdowns, and surprise, surprise, Rachel Zegler joined their ranks. We're about to break down exactly what she said and the detailed implications of it, which are pretty gnarly when you really look into it. Though it should come as no surprise from someone who is most famous for expressing the view that a man being chivalrous and rescuing a woman in need is
weird.
Because you see, Rachel Zegler is one of the girl bosses that Hollywood has aggressively pushed upon moviegoers in recent years, all while most high-profile male characters have been reduced to passive, emasculated slobs that embody unhealthy lifestyles, in the process tacitly encouraging everyone to let themselves go, instead of keeping mentally and physically fit and healthy, which we should all strive towards, and helping out towards that end is NMN. That's nicotinamide mononucleotide, a natural supplement which is vital for the functioning of the 37 trillion cells in your body, and which can help reduce weight, cholesterol, and even blood pressure in overweight adults. Meaning, it not only slows down, but can functionally reverse aging. I swear by it, but don't just take my word for it. Here is Professor David Sinclair from the Paul F. Glenn Center for the Biology of Aging at Harvard Medical School talking about it on Joe Rogan.
When I talk to someone like you who's an actual research scientist of this stuff, I always want to know, what are you doing to yourself?
How long have you got?
Like, what do you do on a daily basis?
What do I do?
First of all, are you 100 years old?
Getting there.
How old are you?
Turning 50. So
you're turning 50?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought you were 50. I would have figured you were for about 41, 42.
I eat healthy. I try to skip meals. I also take supplements. And in fact, most of my colleagues are in the field of aging, or anti-aging as people call it. So I take NMN every morning.
What is NMN?
Good question. So let me take a quick step back.
Sure.
So about 20 years ago, Lenny Guarente and a team of us at MIT discovered a set of genes that controls aging in yeast cells, just brewer's yeast, what you find in beer and bread. And those genes are called sirtuins, and there are 7 of them in our bodies, 5 in yeast. And what they do is they protect all organisms on the planet, plants, bacteria, humans, from deterioration and disease. They're like the Pentagon. They sense when we're hungry, sense when we're exercising, and they send out the troops to defend us. So when you put more of these genes into a yeast cell or a mouse, they'll live longer, between 5 to 20% longer. And so we think that these genes are responsible for the effects of dieting and exercise, which is great. What that means is we can now mimic that with molecules. So NMN is one of those molecules.
NMN is so efficient, in fact, that the FDA is trying to take it away by having it reclassified as a performance-enhancing drug. I've been taking it for several months now myself, and I can vouch for the positive benefits as I run faster, lift heavier, punch harder, and have more excess energy to create videos for you all, because NMN is one of the main precursors of NAD+, which Professor Sinclair also tells more about.
Get this, so sirtuins need NAD to work. Without them, they don't work. In fact, if you don't have NAD in your body, you'd be dead in about 30 seconds. It's a really important molecule. But as we get older, we lose NAD. So by the time you're 50, like I almost am, you have about half the levels of what you had when you were 20. So that's not good. And these sirtuins, they don't protect the body without high levels of NAD.
In other words, as you get older, in order to stay strong, healthy and mentally alert, you need to supplement your levels of NMN, the precursor to NAD+, and Black Forest Supplements, the sponsor of this video, can help you out with that. What is more, for the next 48 hours, viewers of this channel can buy 2 and get 1 for free, so order yours now, link is in the description. With that, let's get into exactly what Rachel Zegler said. Zegler first posted this to her Instagram stories, a cesspool where not everyone ventures, so my nerdy home further disseminated her words for the world to see on X, before it was brought to my attention by our friends over at Fandom Pulse. So, Zegler said, I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leaning us towards a world I do not want to live in. Leaning us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. I did not know Rachel Zegler had a daughter. Is she expecting, or is she talking about a potential future daughter who right now only exists in her imagination? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Either way, this daughter is way too young for Zegler to be talking about her having an abortion. Yet that is exactly what she is referring to, and the hoax that women's rights somehow are about to be rolled back, which they're not. Trump has made it abundantly clear that abortion shall remain a state issue, meaning no rights are being taken away, though in some places a level of inconvenience may be added in having an abortion carried out. Not in California, where Rachel Zegler lives though. There, abortions will continue to be as readily available as they are right now. Not realizing this though, Zegler continues expressing irrational fears on behalf of her Schrodinger's daughter, who may or may not exist, continuing, leaning us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want. No, Rachel, just like Christina Applegate, who also took for granted that her daughter would not want to keep her hypothetical baby, but wouldn't be able to have an abortion because of Trump. The reality is that your daughter can also have all the unprotected sex she wants with all the dudes she desires, and you'll still only end up with a cat as a grandchild. Though I gotta say, rather than pre-planning their respective and underage daughters' future abortions, I do think both Zegler and Applegate should perhaps consider educating their daughters to not let men with whom they do not want children jizz inside of them. I mean, there is such a thing as condoms. Zegler continued though, leaning us towards a world that is fearful. Fearful of what? Surely not over being cancelled, because it's your side that practices witch hunts to that end. I shouldn't be shocked, but I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who woke up fearful this morning. Pray tell, what friends would those be? Big pharma executives who are worried that their current immunity will be taken away if some kind of fraud is exposed, something Robert Kennedy will work very hard at exposing. Or illegal immigrants whose actions have made them first in line for eviction, because otherwise there is no rational reason to be fearful for anyone. She continues though, telling the fearful, I am here with you. To cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. Well, that's democracy for you. Even if your side likes to proclaim it as theirs, the populace might want to give someone else a shot at times. That's one of the hallmarks of democracy. She wasn't done though. I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. I wonder, is that meant to be a threat or just an ill wish? But there's more. There is also a deep, deep sickness in this country that is shown in the sheer amount of people who showed up for this man who threatens our democracy. It's terrifying the number of people who stand behind what this man preaches. It's a foolish subscription to a false sense of security, of masculinity, of intelligence, of patriotism, and of humanity. Okay, so there's the pain points then. Humanity, patriotism, intelligence, and worst of all, masculinity. These are very clearly things that this would-be girl boss, but in reality spoiled and entitled overgrown brat, has huge problems with. Here's to hoping that she can decompress and get out of her hive mind, because it's not doing her any favors. Nor is she, for that matter, doing the movies that she's in any favors. I mean, the producers behind Y2K are probably none too pleased about any of this, as a good chunk of their audience will now know that star Rachel Zegler wishes them ill and that she hates their masculinity. Let me know how you think that will affect the box office in the comments. And before you go, remember to get NMN to help you stay fit and strong. Use the link in the description or pinned comment, where for the next 48 hours you can buy 2 and get 1 for free.